Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video, and I'm super excited to announce that this channel has been sponsored by C6 Outdoors. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with C6 Outdoors, essentially they make the lightest rooftop tent you can find on the market. That's actually it right there. It's called the Rev Tent. It is 25 pounds, it's super lightweight, you can pick it up literally with one hand. This video is not going to be about that tent, that will be in a separate video. This video is going to be about putting together the rack system, so you can essentially use this as a rooftop tent. You can use the Rev Tent in many different forms or fashions. You can use it as a rooftop tent, you can use it in the back of a truck bed, you can also just use it as a regular ground tent. And I'll show you those different variations in different videos, but like I said, we're going to get to putting this rack together in this video. So after you get the box and you open it all up, you will find that there are no instructions in the box. They will actually email you before this box even shows up with basically it's a list of instructions of how to put everything together. That's including the rack, the tent, and anything else that they may sell. So this is the email here. So for this one, we're going to be doing the Rev platform. So we're going to click on that. And it's going to bring up all of our instructions on how to put this together. Estimated time to get it all done is 2 hours, so let's get to it. It says right here on this box to start here. I like this. Don't freak out, you can do this. Step 1. That's awesome. It even says in the instructions to put this wristband on, so hell, let's do it. Set out all the hardware packets, do not dump out the contents, leave the parts in the bag to keep organized. So it's essentially like all of these, it just says to set them all out, it's just all the hardware. It's nice that everything is very well labeled. There's letters for every bag and they tell you exactly what they're going to be used for. All right, it says the next step is to lay out the extrusions. All right, so this is the ladder. We'll set that off to the side for right now. Alright guys, so what I gathered from the instructions, so these are going to be the center slats and there's two different styles. These are outers and then these are outers. These are the longer ones, these are the shorter ones. So we're going to try to piece these together the way they should be. Alright, so that's going to be our basic outline for the outer portions, and then we'll line up the middle bars as well. So now when it comes to the middle bars, there's two different styles. There's ones that are standard slats, and then there's one that have track slats. The difference is the track slats have these holes that are bigger, and on the other side of it there's 3 holes. And on the standard one, as you can see, there's no big holes on either side, and it just has the small hole on either end. So one, we're going to do all standard, and then the other one we're going to do all track slats. And in the picture, it has the 3 holes up, and then this end down. Alright, essentially that's going to be the backbone of it. So in the instructions, it does have these corner profile pieces, and they basically just have them sitting right in the corners of all 4 sides. So it says identify and place the center profiles, and it says identify and place the outer profiles. So what that's saying is this long piece right here, these long pieces in the middle, they're the same length as the one on the ends. Now the ones on the end, if you look on the back side of them, they're flat, they're perfectly flush. The ones in the center, see how they're not flush? There's that indentation there. And then the other side, it's got like a outward indentation. So these two are the ones that need to be in the middle because essentially they're going to lock together. The next step is to place the corner profiles. Comes together really nice. So as you guys can see, there's this double line or double extrusion right here. there's a single one on the bottom. So the single side has to be on the bottom and the double has to be on the top. Guys, so when it says 2 channel slots face up, 1 channel slot faces down, what it's talking about is over here, see how there's 2 channel slots here? And then there's on the bottom side of each one of them, there's 1. So you have to make sure the double slots are up on all of them. And then the side pieces, see the C6 logo down here? See how it's upside down? When you're putting it together, that's the way this needs to be, because this is the bottom of the rack. So when you flip it over, it'll be right side up. So the next step is identify and place the track slats. It says these are the slats extrusions that have multiple holes and cutouts. These extra holes will be used in a later step. The cutout faces down, holes face up. And then identify and place the standard slats. So we already did that. So the standard slats are over on this side. They got the single hole right on the ends. And then this is the other side. Like I said, we have the holes facing up. So it says set aside these 2 square tracks. We'll get to those later, which we already did. They're right over there. It says great job. All you have to do now is bolt the red platform together and add the hardware. So this is essentially where we're at right now. That's essentially what the frame is going to look like. Everything is loosely put together. We just need to put the hardware in. Next step, we're going to take packets A, B, and C, which we got right down there. And we're going to take these corner pieces and lay them out on the corners, and we're going to use packets A, B, and C to mount them in place. So using the slider nuts out of packet A, what we're going to do is open these edges up a little bit, and essentially this hole is going to line up with here, and these slider nuts, one's going to go here, and then one's going to go on this slat right over here. So these have this little ball spring. You got to make sure those are facing to the bottom of the channel. So essentially they're going to sit in there like that. This will sit right on top. And then once we get this pushed in, we can line these up and then put the bolts through. Next, we're going to take our washers from packet C and our bolts from packet B, and we're going to put them in place. We're going to realign our plates, make sure the center hole is lined up, make sure our other ones are lined up, and then we can go ahead and start our bolts into the 4 outer holes. So now that we have the first side in, we're going to do the exact same process on the other 3 sides. Pro tip, watch this video all the way through because I make some mistakes along the way. I want to try to prevent you guys from making those same mistakes. One of the mistakes I just did was this here is not supposed to be here. These pieces are just supposed to be on the outer corners. So this one that I put on here and the one I put on there I'm going to take back off. And then these are going to go along here. So I'll pop these 2 off and we'll just make sure we get them on the outer corner pieces. Guys, so now that we have all 4 corners all the way secured, now we're going to shift our attention to the middle. Now in the middle one, it says the center holes have the hinge plates bolted to them, which are these right here. Basically this is what's going to help the whole thing, you know, open and close. So we'll be using slightly longer bolts to secure the hinge plates out of packet D, which is this here. So essentially it's going to be the same process of these T-nuts that are going to go in here. This goes on top of here, but you're going to put this on there and then it's going to be secured just with the longer bolts. Okay, so when you put the hinge pieces on, there's 4 hinges altogether if you look here. They look very similar, but if you notice, there's a thicker one and a thinner one. So see how that's a little bit longer and this one's a little bit shorter here? That means they go together. And then the same over here. We got a smaller one and a bigger one. And when you put these on, this tab has to be facing down. So essentially, that's gonna go there. And then this other one's gonna go over on the other side. And then we're gonna use the longer bolts out of the packet D. And those bolts are gonna drop into here through those T-nuts that are already in there. And then we're gonna do this on this side, and then we're gonna put these ones over on the other side. The next step is we're going to use the Packet E, which is the extrusion to profile fasteners, and we're going to be using it to put in the slats onto the outer rails. So inside Packet E are going to come these two different styles. They're actually going to go into one another. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, slide it through the bottom, so it lines up with the holes in the slat. And then take this one. And we're just going to do these finger tight for right now. So we're going to do that for the remaining slats. All right, so now I have the center slats in. Like I said, they're not fully tightened, they're still loose. That way we're gonna come back and tighten everything down later. Now the instructions say to flip this over. So this is the bottom portion of it. So we're gonna flip both of these over, so we'll be looking at the top. So now that we have the rack flipped over on its top, we're going to install these little side pieces here. Basically, they're going to sit right on there, but before we put those on, we need to take our hardware from A, B, and C again, and also E. So the extrusion and profile fasteners, those are going to be these two holes here. And then this plate's going to sit on top of here, and you're going to use this hardware for that. You're going to secure it in here, just like you did earlier on the other side. So you're basically using that center hole here as like a guide to where you're going to put these slide these other ones at. Right, so once you have all the holes lined up, we can go ahead and start putting our hardware in. So these are the bolts from the B package, and then the washers from the C package. Go ahead and get those started. And these ones are going to drop in through here, and you may have to, this is where it says you may need a hammer or a mallet to line these up. But if you didn't tighten everything, then you should be able to push them together and get them to line up. There we go. Okay, that first corner is done. We're just going to work our way around to all the other corners. Okay guys, so we have all four corners in, and essentially we're going to do the same exact process for the inner portions of them. except for where the hinges are. We're going to use the longer bolts out of the packet D, but the rest of it is going to be the exact same process as we did earlier on the other sides. So we're going to use the longer bolts for these ones. And then the shorter bolts for the side ones. And then we're going to take these two, lift this up, and then secure this other end. All right, that one's done. We'll go ahead and move on to this one, and then the other two on the other side. All right, so we have all the corner pieces in, including the center pieces. These instructions are funny. So it says, shoe, the corner, top, and bottom brackets are assembled, the slats are in place, look at how far you've come. Stop, take a break, breathe. You're way more than halfway done. Preview of what's to come. You still have to tighten the bolts, add the tracks, add the hardware for the ladder, and install the latches to lock the platform closed. Grab a snack, pet your dog. These instructions can wait. I've already grabbed a snack, so I'm just going to continue. And my dogs are currently upstairs barking at whoever's walking by right now. All right, so the very next step is to basically go through and tighten all the bolts. Next thing I need to do is get all these smaller bolts, which are going to take these two smaller Allen keys. Easiest way to probably do that is probably just to stand these straight up. That way you can get one of these on each side. All right, so that's one side completely tightened down. Now I just need to get to the other side and just do these smaller bolts on the other one. All right, so the next step is we're going to take the hardware from the package F, and we're going to install these rails. And they're going to install, you can install them either on the inside tract on each side or on the outside tract on each side. Really, whichever way is going to best fit the roof rack that you're going to be putting it on. Let's get these slats on here. Sorry, I got the dog walking in and out of the shot. So you can use the inner or the outer. I'm going to use the outer. I could really use either one with my setup, but I think the outer is just going to work a little bit better. These have the nutsert things already in them, so you just got to slide them in to the right spot. All right, so now I got all those lined up, now I just got to drop the bolts in. All right, so we got our bolt, our lock washer, and our washer. So pro tip when you're putting these bolts in, they can be hard to get started. So if you take your opposite hand and press down on this rail, it gives it just enough leverage to get that bolt started, and they go in a lot easier. So now I got them all in. Just gonna go back through and torque them all down real good. All right, so now that we have the bottom piece on that's gonna attach to your rack, we're gonna take the stoppers out of the packet J. There should be two of them. And they're gonna get attached to the bottom rack, which is the rack that we're currently working on, the one that has the cross beams on it. So you're gonna slide it into the middle. There's a little hole here that you can just push it in. Slide one over here to where it matches up with this. And then we're gonna slide one the other way. These are going to be on the opposite side of the opening. So where the clamshell part is, it's the opposite side of that. All right, so next we're going to bolt together the hinges using Packet G. And we're going to use the supplied M13 wrench and the large hex key that they sent with it. So when you guys put this together, they say to the one that's thinner of the two brackets should be sitting on the inside. So this one's the thicker one, this is the thinner one. And we're going to do a washer. And then there's going to be a washer that's going to go between these two. Slide that in there. And then another washer. And then the nut. And we'll go ahead and tighten those down. It's nice that they send a ratcheting socket. All right, go ahead and repeat that process on the other side. The hinges are together. Now we're moving on to the locks. So that's going to be using Packet H, the lock hardware. All right, so the first part of this lock process is you're going to take these here, slide them in the center part of the rack, slide it on over, almost to where the stopper's at. I'm going to do 2 on each side. The next step, you're going to take your locking mechanism, line it up with those 2 holes, and then take the screws that were supplied with it and the lock washer. Get those started. And then you can run those in with the screwdriver that they send you. It's nice that they send in all the hardware and the tools that you need. All right, we got these 2 latches on. There is a bottom part that we need to latch in. So, put this up, and then just take another one of these, slide it in, and once it's lined up, go ahead and put our screw in. Alright, so we got that latch on there. Now it says flip the platform back over. Now you're going to add the latch hooks to the other platform half. Yeah, this sucks, but you're almost done. Before I tighten this down, I just want to make sure it matches up with this. Going to do the other side. Alright, so now we're on to install ladder hinge pins. It says with the platform open, mount the quick release ladder pins Packet I, which is this one here, on the top platform half, this is the top half here. By the way, this is the last step. F yeah. So it looks like we're going to take these things again. We've been using these pretty much through the entire time. We're going to slide them in here. With those nuts in there, it looks like we're just going to set this, line those up, and then drop the bolts in. Now before we tighten these down too much, we'll probably want to see where the ladder lines up with this, because these are those quick release pins for the ladder. So you can put the ladder right in here, and this is just a quick release to take it on and off. Before I completely tighten these down, I'm going to take the ladder. These pieces are separate, so we'll have to hook those into the ladder. So to put them in, there's a little tab here, you push that over, slide them in. Same on the other side. And we can use this as a reference to where this is going to be. That looks pretty even right there. So we can go ahead and tighten those down. All right, we just got done putting the ladder pieces on, and we get to the very bottom here, and it says, "Woohoo, the platform is built. Jump up and touch the sky, you did it. Remove the C6 outdoor wristband, put it in a safe place. Let it serve as a reminder of your perseverance and smarts. This is an accomplishment that should not be forgotten." So, the platform is built. It did take several hours. I was filming too, so obviously that added to it. It's not a hard process, it's just very time consuming. There's a lot of bolts, there's a lot of pieces. The instructions are excellent. They're funny as well, which, you know, that's a bonus. Take your time with it. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. You know, I did half of it. You know, I got some food, I came back, I finished it off. But I'm just super excited that C6 was able to support the channel, and I really cannot wait to get this out on some camping and some overlanding adventures. So stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to go over the tent in the next video. I just need to get this platform built so I can obviously get the tent on it. Thanks for watching this one, guys. We'll catch you in the next one.